Hello, and welcome back to Wellywood Wargaming. My name is Damon, and in this episode we're going to be taking a step back into the Underhive with Necromunda and taking a look at the corpse grinder cults and how we might list build them. Now, without further ado, I suppose it's worth mentioning, please do like, share, subscribe, smash those buttons as much as you can, and of course check out the Patreon as well if you'd like to support me directly. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, of course I have done gang guides for the whole of Necromunda. In fact, I've done a lot of videos for Necromunda in general over the last year that I've been doing this. And this video, I meant to do a little while ago. It's one of the last remaining list building guides I've got to do, so I thought I'd do one now. Of course, these ideas kind of come to me in the small hours of the morning when I'm sort of half asleep and I'm like, oh, I've got an idea, and then I write down some of the lists in Yak Tribe, and then I come up the next day and do a video. So yeah, these are my own my own ideas, my own sort of machinations, I suppose. So do take them with a pinch of salt. They're not exactly the be-all and end-all of how you should play corpse grinders. So, but yeah, these are some of my ideas after playing them and playing against them. I've got 3 very different lists for you here anyway. So let's get into it. The first list is the Billy No Mates build. This is what you can do if you want to be a real cheesy dickhead. Now you can do this with any gang in Necromunda. In fact, you could probably do this with any faction in any game across the Warhammer universe, I suppose. But here is an example of just, if you really want to not have any mates in your life, or if you don't have any mates and you're not really not really bothered about losing them, then what's that noise? That is a car horn going off. Sorry about that. I'm sure that will stop pretty soon. In fact, yes, it has stopped just there. Anyway, let's get into it. The Billy No Mates build, I have got 8 fighters here. 8 fighters is kind of the magic number, really, with a lot of gangs in Necromunda. I'd say 8 is a really healthy starting point for most gangs. It does, of course, depend on which gang you're playing. Some gangs are more, forgiving with fewer numbers. Corpse grinders, I'd say, are kind of somewhere in the middle. They've got okay cool, but it's not amazing, which does mean that you kind of probably want at least 7 or 8 fighters in this gang. So with the Billy No Mates build, I've gone for 8 fighters. 8 absolutely horrible cheesy fighters. The first one is the Butcher. The Butcher is the leader. He's the actual only corpse grinder that I've got in this list. You'll see about that in a second, but this Butcher, the leader here, is geared for close combat only, of course. In fact, corpse grinder guys in general, the big guys anyway, are all close combat monsters. They can't do any shooting. They don't have any access to shooting weapons at all. This guy has got paired heavy chain cleavers, which cost, I think, 130 credits, which seems very expensive, but they are fantastic weapons. We've also gone for an armoured undersuit on this guy to keep him alive a bit more as well. Now, the stats for a Butcher are as follows. We've got movement 5, which is pretty average, a weapon skill of 2+, which is excellent. Ballistic skill doesn't really matter. It's a 4+ there, but anyway, for your interest. We've got strength toughness 4, fantastic. We've got wounds 2, initiative 4, attacks 2, and then 5, 5, 5, 7 for the mental stats there as well. So pretty good, cool willpower and leadership, just not, very average intelligence there as well. The paired heavy chain cleavers are paired, which means that you get, your base attacks amount on the charge is doubled, meaning that you've suddenly got 4 attacks with 2 weapons, and if you add it all up, it ends up being 8 to 10 attacks or something stupid like that with this guy on the charge. He also comes with baked in stuff. He's got plate mail and a butcher's mask. Plate mail, I believe, is a 5+ save, so combined with the undersuit is fantastic with a 4+ save. We've also got the butcher's mask there as well, which gives you a 6+ invuln save, I believe, and also a willpower check for enemies to shoot you and fight you and stuff. So pretty nasty all up. He also comes with First to the Fray, which is an inbuilt skill, meaning that instead of rolling a D3 when he charges, he rolls a D6, which is very scary, meaning without any other stuff, without any stim slug stashes or skills, this guy can charge a potential of 11 inches just from the off, which is just fantastic when he's got that many attacks and whatnot. The paired heavy chain cleavers themselves are +1 to hit in melee. They're also +2 strength, meaning that you can pretty much wound toughness 3 guys on a 2+. They're also 2 damage, -2 AP, and they also have sever, which means that if you reduce your reduce your target to less than 1 wound, they're just automatically taken out of action. This guy can take out ambots in one shot. He can basically take anything out in the game in one shot, including the big monster on the monster hunt scenario as well, I think. Kind of disgusting anyway. But it is what it is. And he's the only corpse grinder in the list. The next 7 are really, really revolting, and just please don't do this. I mean, do it, but just, yeah, do it, but maybe don't. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we've got 7 initiates here. Initiates are 25 credits each. They're far too cheap. They're far too good. Their stats are actually slightly better or around about the same as a Hive Scum. And they're only 25 credits as opposed to 30. But they come with flak armor and initiate's mask. They have infiltration as an inbuilt skill as well, which is one of the best skills in the game. Infiltrate means that you can pretty much set up wherever you want on the board as long as you're out of line of sight and a certain range from your opponent. Now I've got 7 initiates here, and they all have hand flamers. Every single one has a hand flamer because that's what this list is all about, having no mates. One of them has smoke grenades, and he's 115 credits. The rest all just have hand flamers. So you infiltrate these guys in as a screen, you set everything on fire, and your leader just runs around behind the scenes, just chopping everybody up and finishing everyone off. Granted, it's not the most, it's incredibly one-dimensional, and it's incredibly unfun and incredibly cheesy. And there are certainly ways to beat this list, but it's fucking annoying, and it's really horrible, and just don't do it. I don't know why I'm giving you these examples here, because someone's going to go away and do this, and you're just not going to have any friends. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I wouldn't do it, but it's an idea. It's there for you. That's the potential of cheesiness for corpse grinders. To be honest, I think you could probably do even more cheesy, but that's pretty damn cheesy. I think you'll agree. Anyway, the next one is quite the opposite, and that's Bob the Boring Box Builders list. A lot of B's there. Bob the Boring Box Builder. This one is based on just one box of corpse grinders, not the extra weapons kit, because to be honest, the extra weapons kit that you get for corpse grinders doesn't really give you many cool options. It's got a heavy flamer and a flamer in there, but you're not going to use those. You're just going to use the hand flamers. And to be honest, I just think it's good to do just a simple box build here. This one uses all 10 models in the box as well, which is a pretty good idea too, and just every weapon and thing that you get on the sprues here as well. So anyway, getting into it, we've got a butcher with paired butcher's chain cleavers, so not the heavy chain cleavers, just the normal chain cleavers. Still really, really terrifying, but they don't have sever, they have shred instead, which I believe gives you better AP. We've also got the plate mail, the butcher's mask, of course. Slaughterborn, sorry, I didn't actually highlight this, but Slaughterborn is the skill that gives you +1 movement for every wound that you cause in the game, and that stacks throughout the course of the game. Really, really terrifying, especially when combined with this butcher who already has a 11-inch charge range. Combine that with a few other things, and it gets very scary indeed. Excuse me. So we've got 2 cutters here. Cutters are the champions for corpse grinders. One of them has got 2 butcher's cleavers with combat master, which, to be honest, these guys get savagery skills and combat skills. And to be honest, I couldn't think of a really great skill to give this one, so I just gave him combat master. It sounds nice, it sounds fluffy. It's an okay skill. But yeah, butcher's cleavers ×2, not paired. They're just strength +1, 1 damage, -1 AP, and disarm. So very similar to an axe, actually. And they also have dervish, the cutters, which gives you, I think, a 360 fight arc or something like that. Or vision arc, I'm not really sure what it is. But yeah, the cutters are pretty good. They're not quite as good as the leader. Of course, the mental stats are quite considerably lower. They still have 2 wounds, 2 attacks, and a strength 4. The weapon skill is 1 worse with 3 up instead of a 2 up. And of course, the toughness is 3 instead of 4 there as well. The next cutter, who is much more exciting, has a rotary flincing saw, which is basically a rotary saw on a chain that you just swing around your head. The reason why I love this weapon so much is because it has a 4-inch versatile range, which is just frankly disgusting, but really, really fun. And we've given him Rain of Blows as his skill, making fight actions, simple actions, so you can do it twice in a turn. Swinging this 4-inch thing around your head twice and taking anything out within that range is pretty cool. It is -1 to hit at that 4-inch range, but when your weapon skill's 3 anyway, that just makes it an average chance of hitting stuff. But the rotary flensing sword stats, their strength +1, so it takes it to strength 5, pretty good. Damage 2, -2 AP. They've also got knockback and shred, so knockback's really good on this as well, so you can knock people into walls too. But it does mean that this guy's also, not only can you attack twice, if you're standing there anyway and someone's in range, it's a bit situational that, but you can also, it also gives you a 9-inch, 5 plus D3 plus 4-inch is quite a bit of range on his charge as well. So that's what we've gone for there. So that's the 2 cutters. The next thing we've got are 3 skinners. Skinners are the sort of gangers in the Corpse Grinder cult list. The first one I've given paired Butcher's Chain Cleavers, which I probably could have given to the champ instead actually, but we gave it to this guy anyway, just because, for that strength +1, damage 2, -2 AP with shred as well, just gives you more attacks. The skinners actually come with an inbuilt skill as well called Berserk Charge, which gives you +1 attack on the charge as well, which is exactly the same as, what's it called? There's a Ferocity skill that does the same thing, or Berserker I think it's called. I don't know, I can't remember what that one's called, but that's what those guys get. He's 120 credits there. The skinners' stats are as follows. We've got an average movement, again, weapon skill 3, which is still very good for a ganger. Strength toughness 3, so again, not quite as good as the champ or the leader. Wounds 1, attacks 1, and, excuse me, don't know what that was. And the mental stats are 7, 7, 8, 9, so really not very smart, these guys. The next one I've got, in fact the next 2 are exactly the same, with 90 credits total, and they've both got 2 times Butcher's Cleavers, the same as the cutter that we mentioned before. So that's utilising all 6 of the models from the box set, the actual Corpse Grinder models. The skinners are, they come with a skinner's mask as well, which I believe it still requires the willpower check to charge these guys, but I think you can shoot them. They basically get fearsome instead of terrifying, correct me if I'm wrong. The next part of the gang is the 4 initiates. So we've got 6 Corpse Grinders and 4 initiates, again using the weapons that we get on the sprues here. We've got 2 identically armed for 55 credits. These guys are very good. We've got Butcher's Cleavers and Stub Guns, and yeah, not bad at all really. And then we've got a Boning Sword and a Stub Gun on one of the last ones, and then just a Boning Sword on the last one because we couldn't afford to give him a stub gun. And that is the most boring box build. Again, it's pretty good though, to be honest. Like, it's not using any hand flamers or any grenade, like smoke grenades, things like that you kind of need on Corpse Grinders if you ask me, but it's still pretty good. 10 fighters is somewhat excessive, but I mean 10 very strong fighters is not bad at all. Of course, it isn't utilising any of the fun weapons on the Corpse Grinders either, like the paired heavy chain cleavers and stuff, but you still got your rotary flensing saw in there. You've still got your paired Butcher's Chain Cleavers in there, so it's still a pretty good list. If you want to get started with Corpse Grinders and you want to just use that core box and you don't want to do any converting, then this is pretty good for you. Anyway, on to the last one, and this is my own sort of list. This is kind of, if I was to play them again anytime soon, I'd probably go with something like this. So this gives you an idea of the sort of vibe that I tend to go for, and this is Damon's Delightfully Devilish Dickheads list. I'll say that again. Damon's Delightfully Devilish Dickhead list. Of course, I've given these all very colourful names because they kind of have to have it. Anyway, we've got a Butcher here, 260 credits this guy. It comes with Plate Mail, the Butcher's Mask. Slaughterborn is the skill, again, that gives you +1 movement for every unsafe wound that you bash into people. It also comes with that First of the Fray as well, so D6 instead of D3 on the charge. And he's also got paired heavy chain cleavers, because it's just, why not? It's fucking fantastic. 260 credits, why not? I've then got 2 cutters. The first cutter comes with a rotary flensing saw, and the second cutter comes with a rotary flensing saw as well. Both of these guys are identically armed. One has Rain of Blows, and one has... the other one has Rain of Blows as well. The only thing that one of them has over the other is the Corpse Grinder cult icon, which is really, really good. I think it's a simple action, and you can give fighters around you, or within 6 inches, I believe, extra movement as well. So you've just got lots and lots of movement stacking stuff that you can do here. Combine that with some tactics cards and some Stim Slug stashes as well later on down the track, and these guys become very scary indeed. That's your 2 cutters and your butcher. Yeah, I know it's kind of boring to have 2 guys that are identically armed, but I really do like the rotary flensing saw. It's by no means the most powerful or broken thing on the list, but I just really like swinging around a 4-inch, buzzsaw on a chain. I just think it's great. So we've got 2 of those. The next thing we've got are 2 skinners. So I've only got 5 out of the 6 possible corpse grinders here. The 2 skinners that I've gone for here have got the quite corny and cheesy weapon that is the boning sword times 2. Boning swords are, 25 credits or 20 credits each, they are 20 credits each, which is very cheap indeed. So these guys are 80 credits. They're weapon skill 3. They've got the extra attack with berserk charge, and they've got 2 boning swords. And boning swords are pretty nasty. They're damage 2 and minus 2 AP with parry and rending. So not very nice at all. And just far too cheap for 20 credits if you ask me, but take advantage of it, why not? So I have got a little bit of spam in here with the 2 rotary flensing saws and the 2 paired boning swords there as well. It is what it is, why not? The next thing I've got are 3 initiates, so 8 in this starting list. We've got 3 initiates. The first one has got a stub gun, a boning sword, and smoke grenades for 65 credits. We've then got another one identically armed with stub gun, smoke grenades, and boning sword. And the last one we've got here has got a stub gun, a hand flamer, and smoke grenades. So lots of smoke grenades you'll notice on this list, because I just feel that infiltrating in, putting down loads of smoke for your close combat fighters to move through just adds to the willpower checks for shooting them as well. Just makes them incredibly hard to hit, and just makes you, helps you close the distance, I suppose, with the enemy. I think smoke grenades are very important for corpse grinders. In fact, they're very important for any close combat list, and none, in fact. But that's my sort of list that I would go with. That's 1,000 credits there for Damon's delightfully devilish dickhead list. Yes, it's very powerful, but it's quite mixed. It's quite balanced. It's quite a nice one. I say balanced with corpse grinders. You've got no range there at all. It's worth mentioning that there's absolutely no range in a corpse grinder list. However, you can get a bit of range later on down the track. You can buy your initiates, all sorts of guns that do actually have range later on, but when you're starting out, not really at all. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do for today on the corpse grinder list building here. If you like that, please do comment down below. If you didn't, please do also comment down below, and let me know your thoughts on some of your ideas as well. And I will be back with another video real soon. That's it for now. Peace out.